All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Smirking at Reviews. This is Rob, and we are talking about Incredibles 2 on another episode of Waited for Blu-ray. Yeah, this is one of those movies that I'm kind of surprised I didn't see, but again, not a lot of time in my life for movies these days, so a lot of times I gotta wait for Blu-ray. Incredibles 2. Okay, so spoilers, I guess, if you haven't seen it. I'm gonna try to talk generally, but I'm not gonna if something flies out about this movie. But if you haven't seen this movie, it's called Incredibles 2, but it's more like there's nothing. It's like half incredible. It's fine. I don't know why they waited this long to make this movie. This should have been a no-brainer. It should have been fast-tracked like a long time ago. If they can make three Cars movies, freaking 3 of those things. And the first one was only okay. Like, I don't even know if I'd call it okay. I really didn't like those movies. And they got 3 of them. Toy Story has 3 movies, about to be 4. And at least those movies are, I mean, they're really solid. You know, but like, they waited 14 years to make a superhero movie sequel. Like, that's insane. Disney owns the superheroes. So when, they get the opportunity to finally take advantage of this, which, again, just feels like such a, whatever. Brad Bird is directing, and that's fine. He's really good at these movies. But it's the story that's kind of lacking. There's just something missing in this movie, and maybe it suffers from a weak villain. I don't mind what's the villain's name? The scanner thing. Whatever, the person who hypnotizes people. See, I can't even remember the person's name. That's why, how memorable that is. I like the premise of the hypnotizing villain, but it's just the fact that it's not even a real villain. It's just, and again, spoilers, okay? So it's, as soon as Bob Odenkirk showed up and introduces his sister, and they tell their backstory, I was like, okay, something's wrong here. These guys are going to end up being not what they say they are. It was kind of predictable in that way, where I could just tell where everything was going, and I wasn't wrong. And even though, well, see, the first Incredibles didn't really have that mystery. You just knew right off the bat, not too long, that who the bad guy was and everything. So everything was pretty straightforward. This, they were trying to create a mystery, and I figured it out pretty much as soon as they were introduced. It was like, one of these guys, or if not both of them, is going to be the bad guy. And I was right. And this whole simple, my parents died because they relied on you guys, and now I'm going to stop it from ever happening again. It's real thin. And the character itself being the villain, I guess the point of it is that anybody can be a bad guy, even to some schmo. You don't have to have powers, to be, the villain and all this stuff. And I honestly wish that it had been the brother, played by Bob Odenkirk, instead of the sister. But I guess they wanted to flip it on its head or something, because he was so genuine about helping that if he were to be the turn, even though I knew one of the two is probably, if not both, was going to be in on it, his character would have made more sense to just kind of be the one to suck them in and then use them to his own powers, like to make his own super evil team. But that's not what they do here. They just kind of make it this, you guys let down my parents and they died, so, I don't want you guys helping anybody ever. And it's like that. What a whiny. Samuel L. Jackson is underutilized, and his Frozone character is underutilized. But the action set pieces are really great. The animation in this is really great. They do some really cool things with other superheroes and their powers, but we don't get enough of that. And so I'm hoping that if they decide to make an Incredibles 3, they just jump into recreating, how do they organize superheroes? That, I guess, if they want to make these, you know, stories that aren't just full-on superhero movies, and they want to make them about something, I guess, you know, I would make it about how they organize and try to, you know, minimize damage in the world of being a superhero. You know, like having like the Justice League kind of thing. Like how do you manage everybody in a world now that has supers again? I liked Bob Odenkirk in this movie. I also, if you noticed, their guy who protects them, hides their identities, is played by Jonathan Banks. So we got Better Call Saul's Saul and Mike Ehrmantraut in this movie. Everybody else I just kind of didn't recognize, except for our main cast, like Catherine Keener as the villain, and, you know, our regular people. I did like how Bob running the family storyline, that was really good. The whole thing where they're handling Jack. The scene with the raccoon felt a little bit too much like a short film that they do for these, like you know, with Jack and the babysitter. It felt like a separate thing. It was a little too goofy. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's fine, but it just didn't feel like it was needed in here. And just, you know, it really did feel like a separate thing. It took me out of it. And I know that's so small thing, but it really just annoyed me for some reason. I liked what was happening. I just felt like it was not part of this movie. The whole math is math thing. Is that a thing? Did math change? I haven't been in school since 1993, so if math has changed, that's weird. I thought that was kind of a constant, wasn't it? I don't know. So in the end, great animation, great action set pieces, some interesting things that have more possibilities if they make a third one. But like a lot of things that, you know, we can kind of throw Disney's, Pixar, you know, like, since they own the superheroes, they should, you know, have a little bit of a understanding of these things. And I'd say that if there's one thing that's wrong with it, it's just the story alone. I mean, you have all this potential and they just kind of don't live up to it. And so it just feels like it's missing something. Now, as far as general entertainment value, is it entertaining? Yeah, it's entertaining, and, you know, I hate analyzing a movie like this in the way that I do other things, because it is a cartoon and it's for kids, and kids are gonna love this movie. I just don't like it the way as much as I did the first one, and I just feel like it's because it's missing something. I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm trying to, but anyway. That's it. I mean, I talked less about this than I did the Meg, and I hated the Meg. So, anyway, yeah, Incredifine, making Incredibles 2, making Incredibles 3, I mean, and just give us a bigger story instead of this kind of small family thing. But maybe that's the point of The Incredibles, is that it's not really about superheroes, it's about family. Kind of like how The Haunting of Hill House isn't really about ghosts, it's about a family. So maybe that's just my problem. It could be. So anyway, this is Rob at Smirking Interview saying, if you like this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. Otherwise, we will see you on the next video. Bye.